Today, while Biden was in Israel, he was actually asked by an Israeli reporter about 2024 and a rematch against President Trump. We're here to talk about that and also a bit more of things happening in the world today. Is host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. Of course, his book, Don't Burn This Country, is one of the best sellers out there. Dave, great to have you with us today. I know John really enjoys his chit chats with you, but I'm glad I can steal you this week.
It's good to be with you, Bianca. And let me just tell you, you are killing it in the hair game. Way better than John, although he does have perfect newsman hair, but I'm digging what's going on here.
He does. He's kind of that silver fox look. We do like that. All right. He'll be back with me tomorrow. I know everybody has been missing him. You know, we had this sword dance we just saw, Dave, and, you know, I've been to Saudi Arabia. You know, there was a big hubbub. You know, Melania didn't have her hair scarf at the time. You actually don't if you're Christian. So, you know, but those were the topics we were talking about. It was very different. Here we have, you know, Biden doing fist bumps. Will he shake MBS's hand? It just all seems, you know, like the foreign policy dance. I hate to make the pun there, but, you know, it is a dance, and Trump did it better than Biden. And we're all waiting with, like, holding our breaths. How about you for this big MBS meeting?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the proof is in the pudding of what Trump did in the Middle East. Not only did Israel get a bunch of peace agreements signed, but there were no major wars. There were no major invasions. I mean, there was order being set into a region of the world where there usually isn't a lot of order. Now, things have been relatively calm there for the Biden administration. But the thing is that sort of when you talk about that dance, and they have to do this dance between Israel and Saudi Arabia and Iran and all of this stuff, the question is, Biden goes in saying, hey, I'm not shaking anyone's hands. Then he's fist bumping. Then he's hugging. Then he's right in people's faces. And it's like, not that that really matters that much, but I think it's sort of indicative of what's going on with this administration, that it's sort of like nobody's really in charge, and they say they're not going to shake hands because they don't want this weird moment with MBS. But then he's doing the fist bumps and the hugs. And it's just like on any given day, you feel like the shoe could drop or any scandal could unfurl, or Biden might accidentally say something that they have specifically told him not to say, or not say something that they told him that he should say. So things feel tenuous right now, which is unfortunate because, you know, you may not like Trump's tweets. I know a lot of people didn't. But especially when it came to foreign policy, we did a lot of good. And Biden, when it comes to foreign policy, as I said, we'll see in the Middle East. But you only have to look at to Afghanistan, which was 11 months ago, to see that some of our foreign policy stuff has not been done that smoothly, let's say.
Yeah, no, it's all great points there. I want to move to another subject we want to talk about with you, Dave, because, you know, speaking of tweets, what about also the iPhone from hell? It wasn't just a laptop from hell. Hunter Biden's hacked phone. Breitbart News reporting now today that the phone number associated with Pedo Peter, it was a screenshot, is actually an alias for Natalie Biden, Hunter's niece, the daughter of the late brother Beau. I mean, this is some weird, creepy stuff we're hearing about this family. Every single day, a little bit comes out.
Every day, a little bit more leaks out. You know, if we were going to go through all of the videos that are now leaking online, and, you know, the smoke and crack and weigh and crack and the hookers and some other stuff that need not be mentioned on television in the middle of the day, it's like, look, there was a massive scandal here, and it's fairly clear that people knew in the administration, and I would say in the tech world, knew that there was a massive scandal here, which is why the Hunter Biden laptop story got covered up before the election. And it was only a year after Joe Biden became president that finally the New York Times admitted it was real. I would say, as a slight aside to this, look, I don't love the idea that hackers can be breaking into people's phones or computers or anything else and releasing personal emails or pictures or videos. I mean, that's a very, very dangerous game. And I'm not even talking about people that have done illegal activity. I'm talking about everybody has private emails, private exchanges with friends and family members and spouses. So the idea of this as a general rule, I think, is a pretty dangerous thing. But the simple fact is Hunter Biden was involved in a lot of bad stuff. You know, the names of people in the phone, but it's really about the content of it. I mean, and then, of course, you know, just just the other day, he was at the White House, and it's like, I don't know how many people that are smoking crack are invited to the White House. We know of at least one.
Yeah, and you would think that maybe they'd be downplaying him or putting him to the side, but you're right. He's there front and center. And, you know, some of the stuff on the iPhone dealt with, you know, prostitutes that he had hired. The Daily Mail said he spent like $30,000 in 5 months. That's their report there. But Elon Musk jumped into the fray, as he always does. You know, he had this meme about Hunter Biden, Dave, which, you know, we do the meme team here. So obviously, you know, Elon Musk memes definitely, you know, take notice. This is Hunter Biden every time he buys. Well, there you go. He likes the GoPro. But speaking of Elon Musk, he's really more in the headlines now for this lawsuit in Twitter. And I want to get your reaction. The Twitter folks say, oh, we just need 4 days to win. I don't know about that. Do they really want to go through discovery and, you know, having to reveal bots? I think that this could be a settle out of court situation. What's your take?
I mean, from what I understand, the original deal that Elon Musk signed with Twitter was that less than 5% of the accounts on Twitter had to be bots, meaning that if it was over 5% that was confirmed fake, that the deal would not go through. It sounds like he now either has enough information to prove that it is more than 5%, or they have not opened up the books enough to give him confidence that it is not the case. So I suspect either he knew this all along and he was playing a game where he could eventually drive down the price, or maybe he just wanted to expose this whole thing. But what's more interesting about all of this, of course, is that, you know, Elon Musk came in here and he said, hey, I want to defend free speech. I want to defend the ability to argue and have people on the right and left be on this platform. And the entire machine went against him. New York Times basically put out a story saying he was racist because he grew up in South Africa, apartheid South Africa. He obviously is a defender of free speech. I hope that he gets Twitter, but I am starting to feel that, you know, maybe the entire game over there at Twitter is just so fake and so manipulated that maybe him just exposing that is enough to maybe get more of us to either leave or step away or something, and that would be a win, yeah.
You know, you're right, because I think we've learned a lot about Twitter, just how their internal employees reacted and, you know, how they were freaking out because it was kind of like they knew they were outed. But this was kind of funny. I don't know if you saw this, Twitter putting in some evidence saying this is evidence that Trump, that he was disparaged by Musk, and it's an emoji there. Do we have it, folks? Yeah. They said that this is, so this is actually in the court of record here for Twitter saying we were disparaged because he put a poop emoji in. Dave, I mean, is this the world we're living in today? This is the big tech company and emojis, your evidence?
Yes, yes, Bianca, this is the world we're living in. Poop emojis and male pregnant emojis is the world we're living in, and we just have to find a way to stay sane throughout it.
Drink heavily. No, I'm joking. You know, so speaking of that, let's go to the world we're living in. State Senator, Rhode Island, Tiara Mack. We had a follow-up. You know, we talked about the twerking video last week with you. Well, now this is her comments about having no regrets.
So I didn't really expect this to take off globally, and I did not expect it to become like a meme sensation, but I'm glad it sparked a lot of important conversations, and it's been able to uplift a lot of the causes that I care about. The idea that in order to be respected, I have to be fully clothed and buttoned up, and I have to be performing in a way that is inauthentic to myself.
She's been able to up a lot of causes, you know, why does she need to be fully clothed to be respected? Dave, I would think maybe you'd want to be if you're a state senator.
I mean, maybe you'd want to be, but as I said to John last week, you know, if this is the future of the Democrat Party, and I sense that it is, you know, they have very few people in the Democrat Party that are willing to put up the stop sign. They see everybody heading off that cliff. And nobody is there going, hey, guys, slow down, stop sign, yield, maybe take a right. They're not willing to do any of that. So if the decision that they've made is, hey, now we've got twerking woman to get, you know, some attention to our big issues, which are usually, you know, gender things or some of the crazy neo-racist stuff. It's like if that's the direction that they want to go, then I would say at this point, maybe we should encourage them and we should get Nancy Pelosi twerking and we could get Kamala twerking, and it'll be take them to twerk town.
You never know. Nancy Pelosi did make headlines on that Italian beach, so we'll see where the rest of the summer goes, Dave. Hey, you and I have this other thing in common. We both used to live in California. Now we're in the free state of Florida. We want to ask you about Governor Newsom. He's visiting the White House yesterday. Interesting, we thought Biden's overseas, and he's kind of going right in here. According to Fox LA, Dave, he's there for a series of meetings centered on issues like abortion, climate change, and gun control. Now, Newsom says he's not going to run, but do you think he's slowly planting some seeds here? I mean, I think it would be a disaster seeing what the state of California looks like, but what do you think his goal is here, sneaking into Washington?
Well, let's be clear, as Joe Biden, who's not at the White House when Gavin showed up, often says, let's be clear, yes, Gavin is running, and no, this is not about planting seeds. This is planning the operation. The fact that he showed up while Joe Biden is overseas and he's meeting with his wife and he is meeting with the vice president, this guy is completely incapable of saying anything true. He has simply destroyed California. Bianca, you know it. That's why you left. I know it. That's why I left. He has destroyed California, and now he wants to basically nationalize that movement of destruction. He wants big government everywhere. He wants one rule for his friends and for his family, while he wants other rules for you. He wants to lock you down and put you in a mask and force you to be vaccinated, while he parties with the elites at French Laundry and vacations in Montana, while he won't let his state employees do work there because of their supposed anti-LGBT policies, which also is nonsense. But in some ways, I mean, imagine if this was the other way. Imagine if this was, say, a couple years ago, 3 years ago, and Donald Trump had gone overseas, and suddenly Ted Cruz showed up at the White House to start having meetings with Melania. Do you think the media might have said, boy, something's going on, insurrection, weirdness? Yes. But instead, it's, oh, smiley Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
It's just so obvious.
I'm glad you brought up the Montana thing, too. I did notice that. It's also hypocritical. They do it right in front of your face. They don't even try to hide it anymore. So, you know, it's another reason, I think, for Californians to consider a change of zip code. Hey, Dave, before we let you go, tell us about the big comedy show you have coming up tonight.
This is my last show for the year. This is it. We tacked on one extra show in my new hometown of Miami. I'm at the Miami Improv tonight, and I've got a great all-star lineup with me. Christina Pushaw, who's Ron DeSantis' press secretary, will be joining me for an interview. Lisa Booth, who's a Fox News contributor, and Dave Raboy, who's a frequent guest in my show, will be there. I think there's about a dozen tickets left, and I want Newsmax audience to take them. DaveRubin.com/events. Thank you for letting me promo that, Bianca.
Oh, you got to get those tickets while they're hot. That was a little Miami Vice there. I like that full screen we just had up there, Dave. Will you wear those glasses?
You got to have the cool sunglasses in this town, you know?
You really, really do. You fit right in. You got that Miami vibe. All right, you heard it here, folks. Last show. You got to get it sooner rather than later. Dave Rubin, it's always great to have you. Thanks for being with us. Really fun to have you in.
Good to see you, Bianca.
All right, we'll see you soon.